Welcome to Medlines, your weekly resource for quick, credible, on-the-go medical news for those of us too busy practicing to clean the backyard grill. Brought to you by the New England Journal of Medicine.
I just wish I had a backyard. Today is July 3rd, 2026. Happy almost 4th of July. Happy almost 250th birthday, United States of America. We've got a lot to celebrate at the desk today. We're also celebrating the very first episode of Medlines, the latest headline news in healthcare. I'm Dr. Alok Patel.
First episode, Alok. We did it. And if people like it, it won't be the last episode either. How about that?
It'll be the first of thousands.
And joining Dr. Alok Patel, I am Dr. Will Flanary. Over the last week, Enrollment and Affordable Care Act marketplace plans fell sharply after tax credits expired. India is rationing 2 cornerstone chemotherapy drugs after supply disruptions. And light those sparklers with safety glasses, please. A possible connection between shingles vaccine and dementia risk, the return of 988's LGBTQ plus hotline, an actress using medical TV training in real life, and more coming up.
What a spectrum of medical news. Thank God that you're listening to this. But before we begin, today's trivia question. What cancer drug was discovered by accident after researchers noticed bacteria stopped dividing near platinum electrodes?
Ooh,
it's like the bacteria were not turned on anymore, no pun intended.
Where did they go? Where did they direct their attention to afterwards? Stick around.
Bacteria got friend-zoned.
We'll find out the answer at the end. And now, this week's Medlines. Our first story is about a major drop in ACA marketplace enrollment after the expiration of enhanced premium tax credits. ACA marketplace signups reached 24.2 million in 2025, the highest level since the exchanges opened. NPR reports enrollment is now about 19.2 million, which is a drop of roughly 5 million enrollees in 1 year. About 1 million fewer people enrolled up front, while roughly 4 million dropped exchanges mid-year after failing to pay premiums. Enhanced tax credits had made ACA plans cheaper for millions of people and in some cases brought monthly premiums close to zero. Once those credits expired, many enrollees faced much higher monthly bills. According to NPR, average premiums roughly doubled from 2025 to 2026. Not great.
Ooh, from a public health standpoint, this all gives me hypertension. But for clinicians, the practical concern is straightforward. When patients lose coverage, routine visits become easier to postpone, medications become harder to afford, and preventative care can turn into crisis care, all because of costs. And for hospitals and clinics, fewer insured patients can mean more uncompensated care and more pressure on safety net systems, which already feel a lot of pressure. Politically, the fight now moves to whether Congress restores some version of the enhanced credits. Without action, the marketplace enrollment may keep shrinking as premiums rise.
We definitely don't need healthcare to be harder for people to afford with this.
We already spend more per capita than any other wealthy nation on healthcare. How do things keep somehow getting worse?
And it's especially those rural hospital systems, hospitals that are already struggling with Medicaid cuts. Then you just make it harder for the people in those communities. We got some things to figure out.
And I wish it wasn't political at all. And it just was the way it is anyway.
Well, from the cost of coverage, we turn to the cost of treatment itself. In India, oncologists are rationing 2 of the most important drugs in cancer care.
Our second story takes us to Gujarat. By the way, birthplace of the last name Patel. You're welcome. We'll impress all of your Dr. Patels in your life by telling them, what up, Gujarati?
I love that.
But our story takes us to Gujarat, where shortages of cisplatin and carboplatin are forcing oncologists to make difficult choices about treatment. According to reporting in The Lancet, the 2 chemotherapy drugs have been in short supply across India since mid-May. Cisplatin and carboplatin are used to treat a wide range of solid tumors, including ovarian, testicular, bladder, lung, and head and neck cancers. A shortage forces oncologists to choose between delaying care, conserving supply for the highest priority patients, or moving to regimens with less certainty. None of those are great options.
Because both drugs depend on platinum, the shortage is partly an economics problem. Rising global platinum costs and capped essential medicine prices have strained production. Doctors are reportedly rationing doses and switching chemotherapy regimens mid-course. Oncologists warn that the clinical consequences may not be visible immediately. Earlier recurrences and poor treatment responses could take 6 to 12 months to appear. The government has moved to blunt the shortage by temporarily raising price caps on cisplatin and carboplatin by 50%, hoping that manufacturers can restart or maintain supply. But stabilizing availability may mean higher costs in a system where many patients already struggle to pay.
Ooh, I feel like we see a supply chain disaster in healthcare every 6 months. And to have one happen in India that already has a complicated, strained healthcare system, very sad story.
We've seen it time and time again, from IV fluids. I don't know if you remember the IV fluid shortage from a while back, to also, I know that there was an erythromycin ointment shortage that left ophthalmologists wailing in the streets. They were just beside themselves with agony.
I feel you. There was an amoxicillin shortage, and pediatricians were hitting their faces on the wall.
That's a tough one.
With that, to wrap things up, we're hitting you with the TLDRs that we, everyone should have on our radar going into the weekend.
This is Off the Clock. First up, shingles vaccination and dementia risk. A new Annals of Internal Medicine study found that older adults who receive a shingles vaccine had a lower risk of dementia diagnosis over a follow-up. The study focused on older adults after a stay in a skilled nursing facility. The vaccinated group had a 24% lower relative risk of dementia diagnosis. Because this was an observational study, it can show an association, but it cannot prove the vaccine caused the lower dementia risk. But still, get your vaccines, folks.
I know. And this is the longevity story, by the way, that Wellness Bros should be talking about. Just saying.
That's right.
This next headline is a cause for an alarm. A study in the American Journal of Psychiatry links hotter summer days with higher suicide among people ages 15 to 24, a group already at elevated risk for impulsive self-harm. For every 1 degree Celsius increase above a region summer average, suicide mortality among people in that age range rose 2.68%, about 12 additional deaths per month nationally. The clinical concern is that heat can worsen sleep, irritability, substance use, agitation, and emotional regulation. Those short-term stressors may matter most when someone is already in crisis.
The specialized LGBTQ+ option for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is expected to relaunch this year. The service had provided crisis support for LGBTQ+ youth and young adults, but its future became uncertain after earlier funding cuts and operational changes. Its welcome return would restore a valuable resource for a population at elevated risk of suicide and crisis-related distress. It's great to have that resource back.
And I wish the resource didn't need to come back, but the funding was there. But this is good news. Well, I'll take it.
It is, for sure.
In the New England Journal of Medicine, a phase 3 trial found in once daily oral infigratinib increased annualized height velocity in children with achondroplasia compared to placebo after 1 year. Achondroplasia is one of the most common forms of disproportionate short stature, and the study adds to a fast-moving therapeutic area focused on growth and skeletal development.
Oh, you nailed infigratinib. Nicely done.
I was dialed in. I was focused.
You're probably a spelling bee champion, weren't you?
Are you just saying that because I'm Indian?
Moving on, and finally, actress Amy Adams says she was leaving a Santa Monica restaurant with her family when she helped a man who had been stabbed in the neck. According to Variety, Adams said her role in the short-lived CBS medical drama Dr. Vegas helped her stay calm, use beach towels to apply pressure, and talk the victim through slowing his breathing until help arrived. Who knew that a canceled CBS medical drama could provide first aid training? Never seen Dr. Vegas. I don't know about you.
I haven't, but if someone's going to get stabbed in the neck and be resuscitated with a beach towel, it's happening in Vegas. I'm just saying, Amy Adams was probably at some pool party.
Absolutely.
But I love it. And this might be the only off-the-clock segment that requires both a neurologist and Amy Adams' IMDb page.
And honestly, maybe an oncologist, a psychiatrist, and a climate scientist while we're at it.
So basically, we need to dial up the booking department. This segment now needs a referral coordinator.
I think we do, yeah. That wraps up another great week in medicine. Stick around. We'll be right back with the answer to this week's trivia question.
Before we go, here is today's trivia question. Again, I know you all have been drumming up all your guesses. Here we go. What cancer drug was discovered by accident after researchers noticed bacteria stopped dividing near platinum electrodes? It's platinum electrodes stopped the hanky-panky. What was it?
Could it be one of the medications we've already talked about during this episode, Alok? I'm just going on a very, very short limb here.
I mean, according to you, I was a spelling bee champion, and platinum to start with plat.
how about cisplatin or carboplatin?
Or carboplatin. Which team are you on? Are you on team cis or carbo?
I'll go carbo.
I'm going to go cis then. Here we go. Cisplatin for the win.
All right, what do we got? Oh, the answer is cisplatin. You got it.
Flip the coin.
In the 1960s, researcher Barnett Rosenberg, who was studying how electric fields have affected bacterial growth, which one does occasionally, when he noticed that bacteria stopped dividing near platinum electrodes. That accidental observation helped lead to cisplatin, one of the most important chemotherapy drugs in modern oncology. There you go.
I want this as a Netflix docuseries right now. I want to know about what Barnett was going through in the 60s.
I think it's why not? There's documentaries for every single thing on earth. Why not this?
Why not this? But more importantly, this is a reminder that sometimes the experiment is wrong in exactly the right way. And with that, thanks for listening to this week's Medlines. I'm Dr. Alok Patel.
And I'm Dr. Will Flanary. A big thank you to the New England Journal of Medicine for sponsoring today's episode.
To learn more about their research and discoveries, visit negim.org. If you want to learn more about any of today's stories, which I know you do, sources and media attributions can be found for this and all episodes on medlinespod.com.
Love what we're doing and want to support medical journalism like Medlines? Please share today's episode or the show with your colleagues and friends. This is the place for healthcare professionals to stay up to date, on the go, and shows like this live or die by word of mouth.
Yeah, so share it with everyone. And now, the part where we remind you that listening to a podcast does not establish a doctor-patient relationship with either of us. We will support you spiritually and emotionally, but not as actual patients and a healthcare professional.
Yeah, good point. Medlines is a news and commentary podcast and is not intended as individualized medical advice. Let's see if I can do this in one breath. The views, news, and media shared on this platform do not reflect the views of our team sponsors or affiliated parties. To review our complete program disclaimer, ethics policies, verification and licensing terms, and HIPAA release terms, please visit medlinespod.com/legal.
Wow, Will Flanary, JD. That was like spot on.
Good at talking.
And with that, Medlines is a human content production.